All right, so this will probably be the second to last video. Um, this is mostly going to include my current legal standing and how I got to this point in my life with the courts. It starts off the lawyer that I hired for that first domestic that demanded the $10,000 to represent me on the new charges that he's seen coming. He quits as my lawyer. He wants more money. And at this point, Tyler Vitlio had done two things for me as far as I'm concerned. He got my tether off. I'm grateful for that. That was $420 a month just to be allowed to be free after paying the bond. The second thing he did was make it to where Peter Jaklovic could not be my judge because he expressed a bias during my first charge, and he showed that bias during the second. So Peter Jaklovic was no longer allowed to be my judge. He wanted more money, and because we didn't provide it, he petitioned the courts to let him resign as my lawyer. They approved this, and Robert Hackett. Robert Hackett was the next lawyer I had. Mind you, same lawyer I had for my second domestic, which y'all heard about back in July of 2019, if I remember correctly. I think I do. And I had a pre-sentence conference with Hackett. And what this consisted of was me being brought into a back conference room of the courthouse. And I sat in this room while Hackett would go back and forth between this room and the courtroom. Each time he would come back, he had more reasons why I should just plead guilty. Robert Hackett literally stated to me, there is no way you would ever win this case because of your priors. And I even dug in on that. I said, you know what? I hope we talk about these priors. We're going to talk about the time that I shushed her and the time that I smacked her windshield. Neither of which were assaults. I didn't assault her. I pled guilty to these charges. And if you watch previous videos, you understand why and what I pled to. But I've never hit this girl. And this went on for about 3 hours. Robert Hackett would go back to the courtroom, and I'm assuming talk to the judge. I don't really know. I don't know how this stuff works quite clearly. He kept coming back with more reasons and more excuses as to why I should just accept the plea and that taking a trial is not the move. And at some point, I was fed up. I was sick of being left in this room. I was sick of this guy who's supposed to be defending me not having my back, not hearing me, not supporting my truth and not wanting to get it out there, but rather wanting me to accept what the county has decided is a good deal. And I informed Hackett that I know who to report him to. The Attorney Office of Grievances, or Office for Attorney Grievances. When I told him this, the next time he went back to the courtroom, he brought me with him and stated that he didn't think it was morally right that he should further represent me, being that I brought that up. The judge approved this. There goes second attorney out the window. And the judge asked me, and I don't really understand why it's relevant. What interest did the judge have in this? I don't know. But she asked me, did you report him to this office? I said, no, ma'am, I did not. I was truly hoping today that he would show me that I didn't need to. This video may go there. I mean, honestly, where I'm at right now, I'm going to put this videos everywhere. Enter Dennis Duvall. Dennis Duvall is my current lawyer. Not only is he my current lawyer, I would say he's probably the best lawyer I could get for this situation. Reasons, some I won't mention, but main reason, Dennis Duvall is the most commonly used lawyer. He gets 90% of all the cases for Big Rapids from Mecosta County. He's the guy that handles that. Judge Kimberly Boer, the judge at the time, says, this is the last lawyer I'm going to give you. This is your third one. I'm not giving you another lawyer. I was offered a plea of no jail time, probation, and fines by Dennis Duval and the prosecution. Now, this deal sounds pretty fucking good if you're a guy like me who doesn't. I don't care what people think, really. I just want to be able to work and provide for my daughter. I can't do that from jail. So that deal sounds good. But if you've watched previous video, I was offered that same deal with Peter Jaklovic and he denied it. I told this to Dennis Duval. I said I was offered this deal before, and guess what happened? This is what happened. Peter Jaklovic screamed at me and my attorney, said, I'm denying your deal. I'm giving you a year in jail. So I already know. They don't have to accept the plea deal that you just accept and say, hey, I'm guilty. I take your deal. They don't have to accept it. So I said, I'm not doing that. I won't. I'm sorry. I can't. I don't trust y'all. Y'all tricked me before. You're not going to trick me again. Duval informs me that he went and looked, and there's no record of me accepting a plea deal for my second domestic. I hope someone out there that sees this knows how to get into this information, because I don't get that. If I pled guilty to it, obviously I did. It shows right here. I have a domestic violence second offense that I pled guilty to. What was my fucking deal? He says it doesn't show I was offered a deal, but I know I was, because I wouldn't have taken it otherwise. Fast forward, we get pulled into I decline. We get pulled into the courtroom. Kimberly Boer, the judge, says, I understand you're not going to accept this deal? I said, yes, ma'am. She says, well, I want you to understand this completely. If you do not accept this deal, I'm not going to accept any deal that you are offered from this point on. Even if you are offered a deal, I will not accept it. Fast forward to my trial. The biggest reason why I have made these videos is because of this trial. Because leading up to the trial, I expressed to a lot of people that this was my chance. This is my chance to be heard. For my side to come out. No, through all these domestics, no judges ever said, Broderick Wilder, what happened? What happened this day? No one ever asked me. I was just offered deals as coercion to get rid of no contacts to allow me to go home to my family. Trial starts. The first witness for this trial is an Officer Killingbeck, the one that did the investigation for the accusation made in September of 2023. And mind you, this was drugged through the courts. They waited months to arrest me, over a year before the trial started. Officer Killingbeck was the first witness. He's the one that did the investigation. Halfway through his testimony, he's questioned, and they end up having to send the jury out. The jury, during this time, apparently were arguing. They were already arguing amongst themselves. Based just off of the officer's testimony, they were divided to begin with. The second witness is Amber, my ex-wife, Amber Williams Wilder, then Beckwith, mother of my daughter. And she states, they go, everything that these videos have included is either it was brought up to her or I think it should have been. So that is why I've made these videos. No one's heard my side on any of these things. But something I pray gets noticed by the judge before my sentencing, because that's still coming, is that my attorney, Dennis Duval, God bless him, he did ask this for me. He said, outside of this alleged choking, at any point did my client Broderick touch you? Did he grab you? Anything? Her answer was no. The next witness is my sister, Gabrielle Kell Miniker. She's getting divorced, but Ryan's a good guy, so whatever. Gabby is the third witness. She corroborates my story in my recollection of the September events where Amber said I choked her. The prosecutor, John Peterson, really tried to grill her and almost tried to dismiss her as even a credible witness because he was asking questions really fast. My sister's getting emotional. I have a pretty tight knit family. We argue and whatever. We might not see eye to eye, but we got each other's backs and we care about each other. And my sister got a little emotional, and when this happened, he jumped on it. He said, "I'd like to dismiss her as even a relevant witness because she failed to answer his question fast enough." They overruled that, and they let her take her time and answer her question. And then the next witness was my mom. Same deal. My mom didn't really break down. My mom's tough. She's hardworking. I love my mom. She corroborated my story. Same thing. That never happened. This is what happened. Amber threw an ashtray at me. We went and got Kira's stuff ready. Amber left. And lastly, the biggest reason why I'm making these videos, I was advised not to speak. For the millionth time, and in accordance with every time I've had in court, I didn't speak again. Nothing really besides my court cases with Kira for custody, I spoke in those. But when it comes to my criminal cases, I have never said anything besides yes and no and ma'am and sir. That's all they got out. And I was told not to speak. Maybe you guys understand why watching this video, why I was told not to speak. I talk for a living, so I don't really get it. I know I get emotional and I say more than I need to, and I run on a little bit. But I was told not to speak. The jury was called back from deliberation. Halfway through them discussing guilty or not guilty, what their opinion was and what they believed, because that's how it works, is if there's even one juror that disagrees, it's called a hung jury. They're supposed to do a mistrial, and they get a new jury, and the new jury comes in, and you're supposed to do that until it's 100% sure that you are guilty. Well, they had been arguing amongst themselves since the Officer Killingbeck's statement, and they had only been able to come to terms with the fact that I did not choke her. The pictures that were shown in court, no bruises on her neck. I mean, they took pictures the day she reported it after driving to McDonald's, going to bed, getting up, coming to my house to get her stuff, going to work, then texting my sister, and then going to the police station. Then they took pictures, no bruises. 3 days later, the cops came back, took pictures again, still no bruises. She says I choked her for 3 minutes. I don't know if you've ever been choked, but 3 minutes is a long time. I mean, I'm about done here today. I've been doing this all day. I've thought about doing this for over a year because I've never been heard. I hope you get this far and you hear all this. And if you do, I fucking owe you one. I appreciate you. Last thing I have to say, because it's something I just found out, those second set of charges that I still haven't had a court date for, where I was sprayed with chemicals and I was arrested and I had to bond out, I'm on trial for those come April. I was found not guilty of choking her. That jury knows damn well, just like anybody should that watches these, that knows. I mean, I have friends, people that know me have been integrated into my name. I took this video at my friend JJ and Kayla's. They took me when she broke her arm. They're the ones that took me to the hospital. And her. They know. A lot of people know. Never touched her. I was found guilty of a domestic violence third offense. The assault didn't happen, but apparently it happened with a domestic partner. And that's the verdict I'm looking at. I'm praying. I just want the judge to see this. I hope you see this, Miss Kimberly Brewer. I'm sorry if you find any part of my statement disrespectful. Maybe it's why they don't want me to talk. But this is my honest side of things, and this is what happened.